Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. In this video, I will break down the tier list for junglers in patch 14.3, talk about the champions and item changes and how those will affect junglers. If you want to jump straight to the tier list, of course, as always, you will have the timestamps. First, let's start with the jungler nerfs, and we have 3 of those, which are for Brand, Lillia, and Rengar. If you saw my previous tier list, I put them in S tier, but honestly, they were S+. So Brand is the first one on this list, and after Riot buffing him directly, then item changes and then rune shot changes were a massive buff for his champion. In this patch, they decided to nerf his passive and his Q damage a little bit. But with the new Leandris giving 300 HP and Rylas being so cheap, just makes this champ so strong and hard to punish. Because of the new health shards, everyone has more HP, but guess what? Brand deals percentage damage based on max health. The item changes won't affect him in a negative way either because Sundere's Sky was nerfed, and guess what? Riot decided to take away 10 AD from the item to compensate it with more HP. Isn't this a lovely indirect buff to Brand? So keep playing him if you are at the and you will have a great time. Next champion is Lillia, and she has the same problem as Brand. There's too much HP in the game while they deal damage based on max HP. Her items are too good while her counters receive some nerfs, so even though she became slightly weaker, there's no reason to stop playing her if you are the deed. But you will feel those late game nerfs most likely. Last champion on the nerf list is Rengar, and honestly he received the biggest nerf out of these 3 champs. Losing base health is a big deal, especially when he is in a bad matchup and he will be bullied early. Then his Q damage also received a nerf, but not just his normal Q, the bonus Q damage was decreased as well. But honestly I don't recommend Rengar if you are below Masters anyway, but I know some of my viewers reach Masters, so let me know if you're still gonna play Rengar after this. If you are one trick, he will probably stay in A tier, but it's a massive drop considering how good he was last patch. Now let's see the buffs, and first is Nidalee, and honestly just like I said for Rengar, if you are below Masters despite her buffs, I don't recommend playing her. Even though these are decent changes, she doesn't work in lower ranks. She gonna stay average, B tier at best, while I can see her becoming a problem again in the high rank. Next up is Shaco, and this champion in good hands is amazing, but if you are average, he is useless, and that's why you can see him usually on my tier list, because unless you want to be a one trick, you shouldn't play this champ. Anyway, Riot decided to buff his clear speed and increase his mana cost a little bit, just so people stop picking him as support and he moves back into the jungle. His clear will be faster, and if you enjoy this pick, then keep playing him in jungle. Our next champion is Shyvana, and Riot is trying to make her AP build better, but this champion is so bad and outdated at this point she needs a rework. But instead we will get a Rek'Sai rework, and if you didn't hear about that, I will update you guys about her as well soon. Anyway, Shyvana is going to be a B tier champion. She's playable, but you have so many way better and more enjoyable champions, I don't know why would you pick her over anything else. The last 2 champions are Taliyah and Wukong. They both received nice buff, especially Wukong, and he gonna benefit from that a lot on top lane since his Q range was increased, but the damage was also slightly buffed, and overall less cooldown on E helps both jungle and top lane Wukong. About Taliyah, well, she's probably a better mid laner than jungler, but when she is good in jungle, I hate facing her, and she's going to be a good pick if you're above Masters. These are the jungle related changes in this patch, and now let's see the tier list. So for gold and above, I recommend picking something from the OP tier. Lich Bane was nerfed, but for AD champs, and Evelyn is happy about that. Next is Briar, and Yemu's change don't affect her, only the collector nerf, but Titanic Hydra got buffed, and her Bruiser build is gaining more popularity. And like I said in one of my shorts, her best and most consistent build is Bruiser, and Riot decided to buff 2 of her Bruiser items. Next one is Belvat, and she is happy about the Stridebreaker change, and just helps her more even though the item got more expensive and it's not as good as it was when Stridebreaker was a mythic, but it's really gold efficient. You know who else is happy this patch? It's Nocturne. Even though Hexblade got changed and is slightly worse for him, after the Stridebreaker changes he can swap item and do whatever he wants still. Like I said earlier, Brand needs more nerfs, everyone is being more tanky, that's just perfect for him, and his clear is still super fast and he stays an easier version of Karthus. In low Willow, the OP tier is pretty much the same, people can punish Brand well enough, and like I said, his clear is easy after some practice. In this one I have Master Yi because he is amazing right now and he likes to buy Titanic Hydra Hydra later on. But let's be honest, in low below Mastery is pretty much always fat. But that's why I put Ramus so high on this tier list. Nocturne, Briar, Master Yi, Belvet, and Warwick are so good right now, and what do they have in common? All of them are auto-attacking a lot, and I expect to see one of them in pretty much every game, and the best counter is Ramos. Red Cane is definitely strong right now as well, thanks to Titanic Hydra and Thunderous Sky Changes, so don't sleep on that, and of course Blue Cane is really strong too. So this was my tier list for this patch, and if you would like to see this type of content more instead of a short form tier list, then definitely hit the like button. It means a lot, also helps, and until the next one, thank you for watching.